were...
Akane.
Huh.
Her name is Akane Kurashiki. I've been looking for her for a very long time.
He walked toward her. Slowly, carefully, almost as if he was afraid of scaring her away, he reached out.
She's a hologram.
Tenmyoji squeezed his eyes shut.
Akane.
He closed his hand around empty air and let it fall to his side. There was a moment of sad silence, and then she began to speak.
I see you finally arrived. I've been waiting for you. Well, I suppose that's slightly inaccurate. What you see now is a holographic message I recorded before you came here. Unfortunately, this means I will not be able to answer your questions, at least not directly. I hope you will understand.
Again with the teasing.
Where to begin? You probably have a great many questions. What day is it? Where are we? Who is Zero? And what does he have to do with Akane Kurashiki? But I imagine there is one question that rises above all the others. Why were we brought here? The answer to that is simple. Everything that has happened here is part of our plan. All of this was required for the success of the AB project. I assume you've heard the name by now, at least. In any event, you are all needed in order to execute our plan. The nonary game was necessary for the same reason. Your question now, I imagine, is just what is this AB project? The answer to that is also simple. Allow me to explain. We created the AB project for one purpose: to transport the consciousnesses of two people into the past. Those two people are you, Sigma, and you, Phi.
What do you mean, the past? The moment the words were out of my mouth, I realized no one there could answer the question. Not Phi, not Tenmyoji, and certainly not a pre-recorded hologram.
Have you figured out what this room is? I assume you saw the Q on the door. It stands for quantum. That makes this the quantum room.
It took me a moment to realize she'd changed subjects without even pausing. There was nothing we could do, of course, but I still felt a twinge of frustration.
Take a look at the rear of the room. Do you see that large enclosure? That houses our quantum computer. The systems that control this entire facility run on that machine. That includes the construct you refer to as Zero Jr., as well as the golems. All of them do their thinking in that box. Isn't that strange, though? It seems contrary to how we perceive the world. The body, the thing that you see and interact with, is somewhere else. But the mind and all its thoughts are in this box. Perhaps it isn't so strange, though. Perhaps humans are the same, with our minds and thoughts existing separate from our bodies. Our core is in our head, of course. We all have individual brains, think individual thoughts, and act according to individual wills. That makes communication difficult, though. So, we're forced to rely on inefficient mediums, like language, photographs, non-verbal cues, etc., to transmit information. Each one of us is an individual, and we have no direct connection to anyone else. But is that really true? In the dimensions we are most familiar with, yes, it is. If we look at things from another higher dimension, however, we may all be connected after all, like the branches of a tree or a rhizome. Imagine a horizontal cross-section of the root system of a large tree. All you can see are the spots where the roots intersect the plane of your cross-section. In the two dimensions you see, the roots all appear to be individual things with no connection to one another, but this isn't the case. expand your view and look at the root system in 3 dimensions instead of only 2, you see the truth. All the roots join together at the trunk. In 2 dimensions, they appear to be separate. But if you look at the roots from a 3rd higher dimension, you see things that might appear to be separate from one another in 3 dimensions could be connected to one another if you look at them in 4 dimensions. Doesn't that at least seem like it could be a possibility? I believe that is how human consciousness actually works. Well, I'm not the only one, I suppose. Zero and I share that belief.
Morphogenetic field theory.
Tenmyoji mumbled something that sounded like nonsense. I opened my mouth to ask him what it meant, but Akane was already talking again.
Now, when I talk about a 4th dimension, I'm referring to the 4th dimension used in Minkowski space-time. Let's start with a single dimension, where all that exists is a point. Connect points to one another, and you have a line. In 1 dimension, the only surface you can create is that, a line. But move to 2 dimensions and create more lines, and you can create shapes. These are 2-dimensional surfaces. Move up to 3 dimensions, and you can connect these shapes to one another and form 3-dimensional objects. Now you have a 3-dimensional surface, which encompasses a volume of space. Connect 3-dimensional objects to one another, and you formed a 4-dimensional object, which encompasses a volume of both space and time. It is on that 4th dimensional axis that our minds are connected. If that was true, then what would prevent anyone from sending their consciousness backward or forward in time? That theory is the foundation of the AB project. The A represents after, and the B represents before. It probably sounds silly to you, a ridiculous story made up by a mad old woman. But look at what's happened to you. You've seen many different worlds and timelines, haven't you, Sigma? And what about you, Phi? I know you have too. Am I wrong? Tenmyoji should know what I'm talking about as well. I believe you experienced something very similar nearly half a century ago. You sent your consciousness to the past to help save a little girl's life. It was a long time ago, but perhaps you still remember.
Yeah, of course I do.
Wer es noch nicht bemerkt hat, das ist Junpei aus dem ersten Teil.
How can I forget? That little girl was you, Akane.
Suddenly it felt like Phi and I were outsiders, trespassing on something we had no right to see. Tenmyoji's face was torn with emotion as he looked into Akane's eyes. It seemed almost like she was looking back at him.
Now, unfortunately, my time is up. The final stage of the project will begin very soon. I need to go prepare. The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting. One last thing. The cat in the box. Is it alive or is it dead? Sigma? Phi? You will decide its fate. Goodbye.
Wait! Akane, wait!
Oh, Tenmyoji, I can almost see you. You don't need to worry. Everything is going to be okay. I will see you again one day. I promise. But I'm going to have to ask you to wait just a little longer.
Wait! Akane!
And then she was gone. Tenmyoji collapsed to his knees, his back hunched and shaking. Wussten jetzt schon alle, dass es Junpei ist? Oder hat das jetzt noch irgendjemand bisher nicht erraten können von den ganzen Andeutungen, die es bis hierhin schon häufig gab? I saw tears land on the white-knuckled fists he pressed against his thighs. I kept quiet. What was there to say? Fi and I looked at one another and nodded silently. Er hat ja auch schon mal Momente gehabt, wo er zu Alice oder zu Clover sagte, er müsse mal zu zweit mit ihnen sprechen. Und danach haben sie ihm auf einmal vertraut. Das waren eben auch Momente, wo er ihnen dann erzählt hat, wer er wirklich ist. With a shaking hand, Tenmyoji pulled a photograph out of his pocket. It was a picture of a girl. After all that we'd been through, her smile was enough to break your heart. We made our way back to the warehouse on floor A and met up with the others. It took only a few minutes to decide to head to the infirmary. As soon as we arrived, we began to treat Alice and Quark for Radical 6. I gave Luna the Excelovia that I had found in the Q room. She quickly prepared it and... Aber haben die anderen das nicht eigentlich auch noch alle? Injected Alice and Quark.
Thank goodness. It will take some time for them to recover completely, but they should be fine.
Good.
Indeed.
Thank you, Luna. And thanks for finding the medicine, you guys. Thank you so much.
Don't sweat it.
No need to thank us.
Tim usually said nothing, just walked over to Quark's unconscious buddy. He took the small boy's hand in his own and held it tight. I could see tears at the corners of his eyes as he turned away from us. Cyber Radical 6. Suddenly I remembered. Dio, where had he gone? It didn't take me long to find him. He was sprawled unconscious on the floor beneath the sink. Ah, das Karma. Handcuffs.
Oh, we found those in the crew quarters. Before you returned, we went to check on the bomb in room 2, and we found them there.
Stimmt, da
Of
waren
course,
welche.
the bomb was indeed turned off. Thank you again for dealing with them.
No problem.
You are, quite literally, lifesavers. You have my eternal gratitude.
I coughed awkwardly and looked pointedly around the room. I glanced over at Fi to see she was doing the same thing. Now what? After that, we headed back to the floor A warehouse to play the AB game. Specifically me, Fi, K, and Luna. Clover and Tenmyoji decided to remain in the infirmary just in case something happened with Alice, Quark, or Dio. Luna would represent Clover's team. With Quark and Dio sleeping, K would represent their team by default, which left me, Fi, and Tenmyoji. You should vote.
No, I'll let you handle it. I chose Betray in the last round. You probably don't trust me right now.
What? That doesn't matter now.
Excuse me, I apologize for interrupting, but I think you should be the one to vote in the next round fight.
Why?
You already have 9 BP. There's no reason for you to choose Betray now, you see?
Hey, you're acting like I might actually try and betray her.
Not necessarily.
What does it matter what he's suggesting? We're almost there. We just have to play the AB game 3 more times. Then we can all get 9 points. But that means each representative has to choose ally all 3 times.
Wäre schön, wenn das mal endlich klappen würde. Stimmt. Dann so. Und dann sind alle auf 9 oder höher.
Okay, I'll vote. You sure you're alright with this, Sigma?
Yeah, I trust you. I handed her the star key.
Shall we open the doors?
An ambidextrous 40.
Oh, right. We have to wait for the deadline.
Oh, well, we could vote earlier, but then each voter would be stuck inside the AB room for 45 minutes.
Okay, let's go back to the infirmary then.
I agree. Please, lead the way.
Luna and Kay set off toward the yellow door. I was about to follow when...
Hold on. I just remembered something. The
What?
AB room on the left, in one of the other histories, she...
Oh, yeah. Jetzt wird das endlich mal angesprochen. You're right. Akane's body was in there. Aber nicht in dieser. What does this mean? Why didn't we find her body this time?
Maybe because she wasn't murdered.
But how? When did history change?
Do you remember what Akane said?
The cat in the box. Is it alive or is it dead, Sigma? Fine. You will decide its fate.
The Schrodinger's cat thing.
Exactly.
I wonder what she meant about us deciding its fate.
Perhaps she was saying her own fate wasn't decided yet.
Huh?
The history where she's alive and the history where she's murdered are both real right now.
What? No, that's impossible. We've already opened the box. We opened the door to this AB room and there was no body.
No, we haven't opened the box. We haven't found a body. But we haven't found her alive yet either. In other words, we haven't actually observed her. The hologram was a recording from before this game started.
The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting.
Where was Akane now? Where was she waiting for us? Or what if she wasn't anywhere now? What if she was waiting for us in another timeline? Or what if she was waiting for us in the past? Was that even possible? If she was, what would that mean? Oh? What? What? Trifft sich gut, dass ich eh gerade auf Klo muss. Aber bloß nicht weggehen. Ich wollte auch gerade schon sagen, wäre das nicht gemein, wenn ich jetzt hier aufhören würde. So, gut. Bis nächste Woche. Tschüss. Nee, ich glaube, jetzt können wir auch noch durchpowern. Und a new destination has been added to the flowchart. What? What? Oh. Warum mache ich das immer? Dieser verfickte Knopf. Dann hätte ich dich morgen umgebracht, ja, das hätte ich auch so erwartet. Darf ich jetzt? Meine Güte. Hier, wie abgefahren ist das denn bitte? Wir haben jetzt ein AB Room Past, wo wir jetzt hinspringen können. Do you wish to jump? Im Grunde ist das jetzt nicht mal mehr die Mechanik, sondern Teil der Story, dass wir dahin jumpen. Oh. Damn it, feels like my head's gonna explode. Wait. Where the hell am I? Lang ist's her. Looks like an elevator, but...
No, this is one of the AB rooms.
Girl. Who the hell are you? And what the hell is an AB room?
Damn. I guess you did lose your memory after all.
Memory? Nein, natürlich nicht. Feels like Okabe, ja. Ein bisschen. I remember. You're fine. She grinned. When is this?
Check your bracelet.
It's a red pair. BP is 3.
Mine's the same.
Does this mean this is the beginning of the game? We've gone back to when we first woke up in the AB room.
No, not quite. I think we woke up a little earlier this time.
How do you know?
Push the buttons on the side of your bracelet.
Huh. 2 hours. 15 minutes.
We didn't wake up this long before the primary doors opened last time. I think we're about an hour early.
Wait a minute. If you're right...
Yeah, Akane might still be alive. We got back before Dio killed her. I think.
Oh man. Then...
Right. We're here for one reason.
To stop her from getting killed.
Exactly.
Let's move. We need to get out of here fast.
Don't need to tell me twice. Let's go.
Okay. Als ich das zum ersten Mal gespielt habe, wollte ich erst wie ein dummer Idiot anfangen, hier so richtig Speedrun-mäßig ganz schnell das Rätsel wieder zu machen, bis mir plötzlich eingefallen ist, wir haben das Passwort doch schon längst. Genau, sie sagt eben dann halt auch, was zum Teufel machst du dann? We're just repeating history. You see what I'm getting at? The password for the safe should be the same one we got earlier. Exactly. Du meinst wohl, we got later. Also dann. Ja. Once a password, da stand es auch gerade nochmal. Once a password has been found, it is here. Stern, so. There, it's open. Good work. Hurry up and grab the cracker. Cracker? Ah, damn, I meant key. What the hell? Just shut up and do it. Okay. War hier, oder? For God's sake, just do it already. No need to yell. Alright. Good. Looks like that worked. Ready-fi? What do you think? I know. I don't need to ask every time, right? Then why the hell are you asking? Hurry up and... Right, I'm going. 10, 9, 8, 1. Done. Fand ich cool. Er fängt an von 10 runter zu zählen, sie 1. Klick. Hey, you pushed the button. Bite me. You were taking too long. We're on a schedule here. Vi and I climbed up through the hatch and out onto the top of the AB room. It took us only a moment to spot them. Akane! Behind her was Dio. He was moving quickly and quietly, a knife glinting in his right hand. Shit! There was no time to yell to her. I scrambled down from the top of the AB room. Vi wasn't following me. When I looked back, she was still standing on the roof. Vi, what the hell are you doing? Get down here and... Before I could finish, she moved. And Lauf, she ran across the roof, launched herself into the air. Das muss wehtun. What the...
He's fine, just unconscious.
Ich hätte eigentlich sogar damit gerechnet, dass jemand sowas umbringen kann, aber okay. I bent down and held my fingers in front of his mouth. He was still breathing.
I don't think he saw me. He probably has no idea what happened to him.
So, und das erklärt unter anderem auch, warum er auf diesem Pfad am Anfang Ally wählt. Weil er halt seine Mission noch nicht erfüllt hat und deswegen nicht so schnell wie möglich raus will, sondern erstmal weiter da bleiben will. Um Zeit zu haben, die Bomben stattdessen zu platzieren. I went down like a sack of potatoes.
He had it coming.
Extrem befriedigend, ja. I heard footsteps come to a stop right in front of us. I looked up.
So you came. I've been waiting for you. You're here to hear the rest, right?
Just wait a minute. What the hell is your deal? How can you be so calm? If we hadn't shown up just now, you'd...
Have been stabbed in the heart by this young man and died. Yes. Although, that reminds me, I haven't thanked you yet. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you saving me.
That... what?
Hold on. How do you know about being stabbed by Dio? Are you an Esper too?
Yes, indeed I am. I am able to jump through time, just like you.
Then what the hell were you thinking? If you knew he was going to stab you, why were you going to let him do it?
Because I had to.
You what?
Think back. Why are you here? If I hadn't been killed by Dio, no one else would have been murdered. Consequently, your own abilities would never have manifested. I did explain, didn't I? The purpose of the AB project was to send the two of you to the past. Or your minds, at least. In order for that to happen, some death was necessary.
Okay.
When a human brain is faced with danger, its processing speed increases. Information is processed more quickly, and time almost seems to slow. A few seconds can feel like an eternity. Unfortunately, that in itself isn't enough to send oneself through time. The amplitude of the consciousness is simply too small. In order to increase the amplitude, we need to slow down the brain before the increase happens. It's a little like a slingshot. You pull back on the rubber band and then let go. The potential energy you stored in the band is released and converted into kinetic energy. That's what fires the bullet out of the slingshot. Now, while a slingshot can only fire in one direction, your mind isn't similarly limited. When the bullet of your consciousness is fired from the slingshot of your brain, it travels past the three-dimensional world and into the four-dimensional one. From that perspective, time is no longer fixed. In other words, you can travel to the future, the past, whenever you like. Your consciousness has been released from the three-dimensional cage. In order for that to happen, I had to infect you with Radical 6.
What?
We're infected with Radical 6?
Yes. Don't you remember, Sigma? Luna should have told you about it in another timeline.
Are you sure? Infecting all of these people with such a horrible disease?
Every single one of you has been infected. Well, apart from Luna, of course. Unfortunately, it was necessary. We needed to slow your minds in order to store up your potential energy. Then we provided a dire situation that would accelerate your processing speed. The result is what you are now experiencing. Your consciousness now occupies four-dimensional space-time. Even that, however, wasn't enough. You had the ability to travel, but your memories could easily be lost during the trip. If the project was to succeed, you had to be able to retain everything you learned in each reality. That was the reason you were forced to jump so many times. With each jump, your ability to remember improved. Eventually, you would be able to retain everything. That is why we made you play the AB game. That was why you had to select different chromatic doors. By forcing specific choices, we could cause you to make more jumps.
I get it. I think I finally understand. Well, okay, there are a lot of things I don't understand, but all of what you've just told me makes sense. You did all of this so that Fi and I could jump through four-dimensional space with our memories intact. Ja, das finde ich total abgefahren. Mit dem Game Design. Right?
Yes.
But why did you need us to do that? People have died for this. I mean, let's count how many different ways people died. Murder, antimatter explosion, suicide. I have died, so has Fi, so have you. So why would you do all this? What does it matter that Fi and I jumped through time?
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. You are all destined to die. Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
I already know all that. What I'm asking you is why? What is so goddamn important that it's worth all this?
I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually.
What?
What? Just when is eventually.
In a future not very far from now.
Bullshit! That's not good enough. Why can't you tell us now? Instead of answering, Akane knelt down next to Dio and picked his knife up off the floor.
I'm going to keep this with me.
Don't change the subject.
But it's almost time.
What are you talking about? We've got plenty of time.
No, in a few moments you'll return to the original timeline.
What?
This is the way it has to be. Don't fight it. Logomorph.
Yes.
Logomorph?
You call him Zero Jr. His official designation is Logomorph. Logomorph, this is an order. Unlock my bracelet.
Compliance.
Das gibt's jetzt Dio.
Now, everything is in place. I have put the bracelet onto Dio.
Der muss so verwirrt sein, wenn er aufwacht. Wie gesagt, es macht halt Sinn, dass er dann erstmal Ally wählt, weil er erstmal da bleiben will, um halt zu verstehen, was zum Teufel passiert ist und halt auch die Bomben zu platzieren, da seine eigene Mission, sie zu töten, ja nicht funktioniert hatte.
All we have to do is place his body in the 5th AB room, the second one from the right.
That's the one Quark is in, right?
Correct. I will move him. I will also put your bodies back into the 3rd AB room. Once that's done, I will reset its puzzle to an unsolved state.
Why do you need to do all that?
To recreate the history that you remember. Your consciousness is about to leave your body and return to the future. Your body will be emptied, and your other consciousness will jump back in. If your bodies aren't back in the 3rd AB room by then, it would be bad.
So you're saying some version of us is going to wake up in that room and repeat the same history again? Well, I guess this could actually be our 2nd or 3rd time.
You are exactly correct. Lastly, I'm going to leave this with you.
She paused and pulled something out of her pocket. It was a small key attached to a string. Na, wer kann schon erraten, wofür der ist?
I'll tie it onto your ankle so that you won't lose it. All right, Sigma?
What's it say on there?
Tu fui ego eris.
Toll, jetzt verrät sie es ja schon.
It's Latin. It means, what you are, I was. What I am, you will be.
Lernt man noch in Silent Hill 3.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do with that?
It will help you meet someone who's very important.
What?
Go. Return to the future. You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you. Now hurry.
Wait, I still... Nope. Gibt's nicht.